What's up, everybody? This is Beardo from Quiet Order Gaming. Welcome to Boot Camp. This is my co-host Gingy. Tell them about yourself.
Well, I'm Gingy. I haven't played Warhammer in over 10 years now. So that's why we're calling this segment Boot Camp, because I basically just need a refresher on everything from the lore to building miniatures, painting, pretty much all of it. It's, you know, it's almost like riding a bike. I'm not going to forget everything, but I'm going to have a refresher before I'm confident enough to host anything by myself and, you know, have any applicable knowledge for you guys. I'm going to start with the Termagants out of the Leviathan box. They seem like one of the more basic models to get started with, and I'm probably going to be asking a lot of beginner questions, because I'll need to brush up on it, and I know that you probably got the answers.
Yeah. So with 10th edition, GW is really trying to get new players to join in the game, so it's perfect time for Gingy here to jump back in. No better place to start than the Leviathan box. These are really simple to put together. They did a lot of work designing these to be push fit without looking to push fit. They go together really easily. You don't have to glue them, but for security reasons, we're gonna glue all of ours. Don't want painted minis falling apart on the table. But other than that, I mean, these guys, they're beautiful sculpts, all new sculpts for the Termagants. They just released a new video for Hormagants, the new Norn Emissary and Norn Assimilator. We're gonna have to get a couple of those when they come out. I'm going to be working on the other parts of the Leviathan Tyranid box. I've already got a winged prime started here. I'm going to build a prime, and yeah, so let's get started.
Alright, let's do it. Okay.
Big clippers, little clippers?
I don't have a preference.
Little clippers.
Alright. Sounds good, thank you, sir. Okay, so can you explain, so this says 31 to 41 at the top, but then it has parts 1 and 2. What does the 31 stand for? Is that like the...
So the 31 in the book here, probably have to zoom in, but in the book you see you got 31, 32, that's the model number in the box. But if you look at each one of these sections, it has I2, I1, I4. Those are going to be marked on the sprue. So it should say, depending on these sprues came broken up, it should have a mark on it which one's which.
I've got a 1. I don't see an
So
I.
yeah, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you're looking for.
Okay.
So part 1, part 2, those will go together as it shows in there.
All right.
And it's basically adult Legos.
Sounds good. Almost like a Bionicle.
Yeah, pretty much.
More than a... Well, I don't know. You said these are like a snap and fit, so...
Yeah, they just push together.
Basically a Lego. Okay, so I'm looking for part 1 and 2. Now, when I'm cutting these out, what am I don't want to cut the miniature, of course. That would be a shame.
That's tricky. So when you look at the sprues, each one of these sprues, they won't look the same. They don't have any sculpted detail on them, and they have really narrow tabs where they connect to the sculpted part.
Okay. With
the clippers, you want to get the flat side and put it against the detail that you want to save. So when you get it against there, and clip. Now the clippers are designed to push one way. So the flat side is not pushing any material. The angled side cuts the material and pushes it away.
Okay.
So if you cut it backwards, then you'll end up with a tail of the sprue on there, and you got to scrape it off with the knife or whatever. So that is a pitfall I see a lot with new hobby guys. They will clip them wrong, and they'll wonder, okay, why have I got all these little extra bits? And they have to do a lot of knife work. But if you clip it with the clippers facing the right way, you don't have to do all that. Now the push fit models, there's one part on each one of these is going to be a little pin. Most of the time the pin is not part of the sprue attachment.
Okay.
But say with these new hex bases, the bases each have a hole, and then the model has a hex part on their connection to the base. So you want to clip the sprue connection from the hex base without cutting the hex itself.
Okay.
So, and like I say here, right there, there's one of those push tabs, and you have to clip it without damaging the push tab.
All right.
Now, if you do happen to clip the push tab, that's not the end of the world. We've got plastic glue. These are plastic minis. There's no stress. We can put it back together. If, you know, worst case scenario is battle damage. So.
Everything can be fixed.
Yeah, it's all fixable. There's no stress here.
Yeah. I feel like if you stress out too much about doing any of this, then you're kind of taking the fun away from it from yourself. You know, this is supposed to be a relaxing, just kind of chill thing to do.
Zone out, just relax.
Exactly.
Some of these, like this one here, this is a tricky one. So the tab is there, but it also almost looks like there's one of the tabs for a push fit there, but it's not.
Okay. So I'm gonna want to snip with the flat side facing the mini itself.
Right. Yep. You get as close as you can.
Right about here.
And nip it. Boom. It preserves all the detail.
That was easy enough.
Once you kind of have the idea, it's not difficult. Not difficult at all. And it cuts down on your knife work, really. I mean, these, from my experience with the Leviathan box that I got, the mold lines are really not bad. There's not a lot of knife work to be done. Most of them, you can get away with just brushing a little bit of the glue across the mold line, and it disappears.
A good little trick to know. I feel like there's a lot of little tips and tricks that you kind of figure out as you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of mistakes that lead to little tips and tricks. I can't tell you how many fire warriors are just in my bits box waiting to be crushed and destroyed under a Space Marine's foot because I clipped the wrong part and tried to fix it badly.
So you're gonna still make use of it, of course. It's nothing's going to waste.
Nothing's going to waste. So it can all become sprue glue if nothing else. So what do you remember from your tenure as a Warhammer player in 6th edition, you said?
It was 6th edition. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I want to say that Tyranids came out in 2nd, so you did have some Tyranid play.
Tyranids were still a faction. Honestly, there's not a ton that I do remember. It wasn't something that I played daily. It's not something that I even played weekly. I had one orc army, mostly just boys and me, and I never even actually got to play at a hobby shop or anything. It was just more of just playing at the house, you know. I'm not even 100% sure if we had all the rules correct. We were just kind of.
I mean, but that's the beauty of it. You can play Warhammer with bottle caps. I mean,
that's true.
Doesn't matter. But in our area, a little bit of information about us. We're from the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
so
yeah.
There's not really anywhere to play. And that's kind of why we started Quiet Order as a gaming club to begin with. Just a gang of guys that are really nerdy and like breathing plastic glue fumes.
Oh yeah, that's honestly why I try to get back into it, is just the plastic glue.
Oh yeah, it's great stuff.
I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah. Kids, don't huff glue.
Yeah, don't do that. That's terrible.
It does smell really good though.
Waft.
Yeah,
you know,
just enjoy the ambiance.
You know, they taught you in science class. You gotta
waft it to you.
Okay, so now, sorry.
Go ahead.
Alright, this is where I would want to cut. That's not a push tab or anything that I'm going to try to save.
Right, so that's not one of the tabs. That's just, you're good.
Okay.
Speaking of glue, we're not using super glue. We're using, I'm going to be using Tamiya Extra Thin Plastic Cement. We've also got Mr. Hobby, Mr. Cement Deluxe. Both of those easily available. I think Mr. Hobby is the Hobby Lobby brand that they carry. But it's not technically a glue, so if you spill it on a table or something like that, as long as you wipe it up, it's not going to leave a big residue. This is plastic cement, so it actually welds the two parts of the mini together. it dissolves it. So you got to be a little bit careful not to put a whole bunch or you'll lose some detail. But these brushes are really tiny, especially with the thin stuff. You got to be really careful that it doesn't get everywhere. But the Mr. Hobby is a lot easier to deal with. It's a little bit thicker. You just brush on some to the part, stick it together, give it a couple seconds, and it evaporates. It's basically white spirit, mineral spirit. It evaporates out, and those two pieces are welded together. They're not going to come apart. With super glue, like with the old metal minis, or if you've got Forge World or resin minis, anything like that, 3D printed resin stuff, you got to use super glue. There are some resins, I think, that you can use the plastic glue with, but they're kind of few and far between. You run the risk of, if you drop the mini, then the super glue will break, and then you got to re-glue it together. With this, you can, I wouldn't say throw it across the room, but if you drop it, it's unlikely to break.
Okay, so it's just a little more sturdy.
Yeah.
Now, if you were in a pinch, if you happen to be from the middle of nowhere like us, and you're trying to get started, could you just use super glue? Just you have to be a little more careful than...
Yeah, I mean, if you use, I wouldn't use a gel super glue necessarily for small parts.
Okay.
When we get to some of the bigger Tyranids, you could use those as the internal structure that dries really fast, really hard, like Gorilla Glue gel. But any thin super glue will work just fine, especially if you've got activator. You spray the activator on one side, put the super glue on the other, put it together, and it dries just about as quickly as plastic glue. Okay, cool. And then, honestly, I mean, you're not going to run into much breakage either way, especially if you're using good glue, if you've got enough glue on it. But if you put them all together and then you find some plastic glue, you can go across those connection points with the plastic glue just a little bit, brush it on, and it'll weld the very outside together. Then you've got the glue and then the plastic welded around it.
Would you have to be more careful with that because you said it basically melts the plastic? You would have to be careful not to lose a lot of detail if you're going around the outside.
If you're just like, when I glue things together, I'll glue it with its connection points, and then I'll go across the seams just a little bit and wipe a lot of the glue off and brush it across to weld the outside so you don't see the seam lines.
Okay.
But when you're doing that, you want to use very little glue, and then you won't be in so much issue.
Alright, makes sense.
If you hear a lot of rustling or walking around, we have 3 dogs here.
That we do.
And they are very not camera shy.
No, they couldn't care less.
Yeah, they love to be on. They're divas.
Okay, so it would be easier when I'm putting this together to angle the model the same direction that it's facing in the pictures when it's going together.
To give you an idea of where the pieces go, yeah.
Okay.
And most of the time, they'll only fit one way, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Especially with push fits. Now, with the older model kits or the more complicated non-push fit model kits, it sometimes can get a little difficult. So you want to angle it, find your pieces, angle it the same way, just give it a look. And then once you've done a handful of them, though, it goes together like clockwork.
Okay.
One thing I've found with the Leviathan kit, all of the heads, you gotta be careful of what order you put things together, because the heads have a tab they push into the torso. And if you put things together in the wrong order, especially with like your Terminators, Captains, that kind of thing, or the Wing Prime that I'm working on, it can be really hard to get the head in place and pushed in. The trick to fix that is, if you do happen to build things in the wrong order, it happens, trust me, all the time. You can clip off the attachment point and then just plastic glue it in like you would with a regular model.
Is it a poor idea to try to shave down this this push pin to get it to fit in a little bit better, just because there's a little bit of...
Yeah, if you got a little bit of like sprue remnant on there, go ahead and shave that off. That will make fitting the parts a lot easier.
Because it shouldn't take a ton of force to get them together, right?
No, it shouldn't.
Right.
It does take a little bit of authority, but not a lot.
Okay.
And those tabs are a little bit finicky, so if you push on them too hard, or if you put any kind of torque on them, twist them, they will break.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, so The less force that you can put on it, the better. I also find if you put the plastic glue on the pin instead of in the hole, it acts as a lubricant and slides right in.
Now, would you like me to glue these together as I'm building it?
Yeah, just
okay.
Like it's the same as you would with any other model. With the push fit, just go ahead and glue them up. That way, once it's done, it's done.
Now with these, they don't need shaken or anything. They don't.
They're ready to go. It's a all it is a solvent, so there's no two parts to combine, nothing like that. They're ready to go. And when you dip it, you kind of brush it off the edge there, and that will get you the perfect amount of glue. Now, if you got a ceiling fan going like we do, the glue can kind of dry out. You may have to put 2 or 3 dabs on there. But this is the South, it is July.
It is.
Ceiling fans are a must.
Oh, 100%. It's so hot. It is hot enough to make a devil sigh today.
I did call the Emperor, asked him to turn down the sun. He didn't answer.
He's probably asleep.
Yeah, I mean, the throne's got to be comfy. He stayed on it long enough.
That's true. Must be nice. Alrighty, first piece together on a miniature in over 10 years. That feels nice. Thank you. I'm doing my best.
Insert drum roll.
Alright, 3 and 4. See, now this shows it going onto the base in the second step, but then in the third step, it doesn't show the base underneath it, so...
You don't have to put the base on just yet.
Okay.
A lot of times, with these, you can pull them right back off the base. It's not an issue, but if you have models that aren't the push fit type, you want to leave putting it on the base to last so that you can do your base decor and all that stuff. You know, if you saw the first video on the channel, we do a lot of thematic bases, like with the ghost keel, a lot of rocks. You can't see it right now, but my kitchen sink is full of rocks being washed to use as terrain and models. Some of them are frankly ridiculous. A couple of them are the size of my head. But especially using rocks, you don't have to worry about your model.
Alright. I'm gonna have to get up and find them.
I got it. He's being introduced to...
Thank you, Beardo.
Gingy being introduced to sprue paint.
Did you say sprue paint?
Yep, just like an M1 gear.
Huh. Makes sense. Go.
Alright, part located.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate that.
Alright, so we got the head and torso of the Prime together. You see these lines right there where they fit together? As I was saying earlier, you take a little bit of the glue, brush it across, just in that crack, and it will melt those seams together. You won't see it so much.
Huh.
It's already going on. You pinch the parts together just a little bit, and it will join them as if they were always together.
Okay.
So what do you remember of the Tyranid lore?
I honestly wasn't very big into the lore when I first got into the game. I was more interested in just having something other than Magic the Gathering to play with my friends.
Not that there's anything wrong with Magic.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I still love Magic.
Don't come after us, Magic guys.
Yeah. I know how y'all are.
Here's somebody shuffling a commander deck right behind me right now. So, the Tyranids, they showed up around Ultramar, home of the Ultramarines, Ultra everything. They got Ultra dead. They showed up on planet Tyran, area of Tyranids, and there was an Inquisitor, I don't remember his name right now, that he was chasing around the first Hive fleet after he got a distress call from Tyranid. They ended up on Macragge, the homeworld of the Ultramarines. The whole Ultramarines first company ended up biting it. Again, Ultra did. Fighting them off. They had 2 polar fortresses on Macragge. The northern polar fortress, everybody died.
Oh, yeah, so the Tyranids are pretty effective.
Oh, they are lethal. Absolutely lethal. Everything that they do is lethal. There are no Tyranid civilians. They're all just bloodthirsty, literally. They want your biomass. They don't care where they get it from.
Biomass, so I'm assuming they don't just kill you. They eat you after
Oh yeah. So they will have pools of digestive fluid on the planet. They basically turn lakes into stomachs. And then there are Tyranid beasts that slurp that up. And they have these huge siphon towers that go from planet surface to the hive ships. They suck up everything. I mean, atmosphere, oceans, anything that's alive gets dissolved, turned into biomass, and brought up into the ship. And that's what they use to make more Tyranids. So they don't actually breed in the way that you would think. The Norn Queen,
another Tyranid.
Yes, she's the boss lady.
What would you call these? You wouldn't. I mean, or what are they, like different?
I think the term is bioforms.
Okay, bioform.
Yeah, bioform. So each Tyranid bioform is customized to its location, pretty much. I mean, if you've got an aquatic world, then the Tyranids will have gills. If you've got, if there's a toxic world, then they'll be immune to the toxin after a couple of generations. And each one of these units has a specific role. So what you're building there is kind of like the foot soldier, Termagants. You got Termagants, Hormagants, and Gargoyles.
Okay.
Gargoyles fly. Termagants are kind of the your guardsman equivalent, basically.
Infantry.
Yeah, the infantry. You know about infantry.
Yeah.
How's it feel building infantry?
That's pretty cool. Now I just need to find the truck drivers, and I'll be right at home.
Oh yeah. Well, that's we're gonna get to those. Just the big guys.
Okay. They really thought of everything with these, didn't
Yeah, they did. They absolutely did. I'm gonna do a thing here that I don't recommend necessarily for new gamers, but if you want to, go ahead. It's your oyster. The Wing Prime, its wings are actually set as its second set, so it's got 6 limbs. You have the top limbs, which are basically like anatomical human, then legs is the third set of limbs, but they also have usually a middle set. The wings for these guys, if memory serves, I'm going to check the sheet real quick to make sure that I'm not wrong.
Go for it.
But if memory serves, their wings are their middle set. And I don't love that. Because it seems like that wings would get in the way. Screamer Killer. Yeah, so their wings are their second set of limbs. It just seems like it would get in the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the wings to the back, dragon style, rather than having it come out the side like that. And they'll look a little bit more imperious, you might say. More dragony, because the wings are very dragon-like. And our custom hive fleet has a big focus on flying, so rather than the wings being an afterthought, these guys, their wings are going to be primary.
See, now I'm confused because I'm going from... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I did 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now I'm to 5 and 6, but there's no more space on this mini. Is he done? Am I starting on the next mini? Is that why piece 5 is the next body?
So you've got 5 and 6, 7 and 8.
Well, this was that's 1 and 2's body. It looks like there's only 2 steps.
So this one, it goes to the next one. So each one of these has numbered parts. So it's not just you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So each one of those, because they're different, slightly different sculpts.
Oh.
Yeah. So the next one will start with 13, 14, 16, 17, 15, 16.
5 and 6 is what I'm
So 5 and 6 with this guy. This guy is built.
okay, so 5 and 6 would be the next. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, just making sure. These, I feel like once you do them a few times, then you'll catch on. But just looking at it blind, it didn't make this super easy to understand just by the pictures.
Yeah, it's almost like almost like hazing. You got to figure it out. From what I understand, some of the old orc models, they wouldn't even come with instructions. They would just come with in the box and with a picture, and it was basically you figure it out. You're an orc player.
You're
Make
an
it
orc
work.
player. Doesn't really matter what you
The
do.
orcs didn't have instructions.
That's interesting. I guess as long as you believed in what you were doing, it was fine.
Oh yeah. Gork and Mork will make it work. So Tyranids are, you know how Space Marine chapters are broken up into different, by the Primarch and Legion and all that, right? The Tyranids are broken up by Hive Fleet, and each one comes in from either a different part of the edge of the galaxy, or some of them are splinter fleets. So our custom Hive Fleet is Hive Fleet 4Cs, and it is a splinter fleet of Behemoth, which was the first Tyranid Hive Fleet. That's the ones that made the Ultramarines Ultra Dead.
Oh, okay. That was on, not on Terra. What?
That was on McCrag.
McCrag.
Which, interesting word. But the I'm actually working on a big custom lore thing. The Tyranids, our Tyranids, Hive Fleet 4Cs, some of the bioforms that attacked McCrag were taken prisoner by the Mechanicus and whisked away to a Mechanicus facility.
A magical place.
Oh yeah. Cogs, blood, oil, dirges to the machine god. Oh yeah, just great summer vacation.
Sounds very Mechanicus.
Oh yeah, very. And we're not going to get too deep into the lore with it just yet because I haven't finished it. But when it comes out, you will know. But these Tyranids basically were test subjects for the Mechanicus, very top secret skunkworks kind of thing. But they broke out. And when they broke out, they went Starship Troopers on the Mechanicus.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but from what I remember, don't the Tyranids have like a telepathy kind of thing?
Yeah, they have a hive mind.
So then, if they took them prisoner, then how did the hive not find them?
So,
were they
lore-wise, what I've devised, the Sisters of Silence seconded one of their black ships, which is what they use to go and like find psychers and all that. They block all the psychic everything. They used a black ship to house those few Tyranids so that the hive mind couldn't get in.
Okay.
Now, that's a little bit WYSIWYG. I'm not sure if that's exactly how that works. That's how it works for us. So these Tyranids, they broke out, and the ship was called the Nightfall. They ate the crew of the Nightfall, and all the Mechanicus guys that got sent up to try to fix the situation, generated a tiny little hive ship and beat feet to the Hadex anomaly. So historically, the Hadex anomaly is where the Jericho Reach is. So you've got Ultramar, you got the Tau Empire, then over here was Jericho Reach.
Okay.
And I want to say it was sometime in M41, a warp rift or warp anomaly opened in the Jericho Reach. And it's at the very end, if you look at the maps, where it's like the Cicatrix Maledictum, with like the whole, well, actually you haven't learned about Cicatrix Maledictum,
I
have
have
you?
not. I don't.
So when Cadia fell, which if you didn't know, Cadia fell.
Okay.
The pylons on Cadia were what was holding the Eye of Terror in its shape, not letting it expand anymore. When Abaddon, the Despoiler, broke Cadia, he basically yeeted a Blackstone Fortress into the world. Just, you know, Armageddon style.
Okay.
Aerosmith played, it was, you know, it was awesome.
It was cool.
So he basically said, screw this, took his toys, threw them at the wall, which was Cadia, and then left. But without those pylons holding, it's almost like a force field holding the Eye of Terror in its shape, it turned into a massive rift all the way across the Milky Way. So, yeah, so there's part of the Imperium that can't see the Astronomicon anymore. They're cut off. Because Terra's on one side of the rift, and everything else is on the other.
Wow. Yeah. He made a mess with that one then.
Oh yeah, the 13th Black Crusade, failed but on the harmless. Really, he did it that time. But
doesn't sound so harmless to me.
well, yeah, GW, they really, for years and years, they made Abaddon be like, you know, mustache twirling villain and always got beat by Superman. But yeah, no, they he
gave him his redemption.
Oh yeah, yeah. Abaddon's scary now. Especially on tabletop, where he was in 9th. He was a bit of a terror. I haven't seen him played in 10th yet, so we'll see how that goes. But he's scary. But at the very tail end, so it's like, so you've got the galactic map, and I'll see if I can put one up in post. The galactic map, and then at the top corner was, if memory serves, that's where Cadia was, the Eye of Terror. Then it slashes down and just brushes across the edge of the Tau Empire and Ultima Segmentum, and the Hadex Anomaly was already there before this happened, but it's the tail end of the Cicatrix Maledictum.
Okay.
So nobody really knows much about what's going on in the Hadex Anomaly. So we don't know how many worlds these Tyranids have scoured. We don't know anything about their numbers. We're blind. And in the current day, they've come back. And my favorite faction is the Tau. So of course, they're gonna come back and munch a bunch of fish guys. That's really hard. Munch a bunch of fish. Yeah, that's not easy. Not an easy one there. And we'll see how the narrative plays out. I really should have drilled into that, but
drilled and pinned.
Yeah, so I'm doing a little bit more of a hit bash because I'm moving the wings. If I had drilled and pinned that, it would stay together a lot easier. But we're here now. I didn't get out the drill or the pins earlier.
Next time.
Work with what you got. Getting really tired of holding.
Well, that's part of what happens when you decide to...
This is the cost of going off-road.
Yeah.
But it's really rewarding once you get done. Mine will look like nobody else's, unless somebody else decided that they didn't like that look.
That's one of the coolest things about these, is if you add any of your own flair to it, then it could literally be one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
So no two armies are going to be the exact same.
Especially with the paint and all that.
Oh,
There's a lot of...
I didn't even think about paint. Once you get into your own color schemes, you could play two of the exact same armies with the exact same...
all the same
units, and they still wouldn't be the exact same.
Tell me that doesn't look cool.
I will give you that. The wing on the back looks a lot cooler than the wing being midway through his body.
Now I just need to get a couple donor minis to get a couple extra arms. I'm about to go way off script here.
That's nothing new for you, though, Beardo.
True enough. I'm about to cut this wing.
Oh.
And we're going to mold an extended wing rather than just a flappy one.
Sounds cool.
It's done. I gotta do it now. Oh no.
Don't second guess yourself. You're
We're
already
committed.
this far.
We're committed. It's not one of my models. If I don't cut something, put something in a weird place. And
That's true.
I don't think any of my models have been built standard. I take that back. I built the Terminators of the Leviathan box fairly close to the instructions.
Well, fairly close doesn't mean you built it completely standard. Just trying to glue the actual push pins.
Okay.
I feel like that smaller brush would definitely come in handy. Almost. And I found that it's easier. Go ahead and get this part. More.
Nice.
There he is. Yeah, once you do a couple of these, this stuff really does start to go together a lot faster.
Yeah, you get the first one done, you think it takes forever, and then you look up and realize, oh, we've been recording for like almost an hour.
Yeah. And you look up and you're like, wow, I've got like 6 of these built.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so as far as getting this model glue on your hands, I just got it on my fingers. Is it like a super glue? Is this gonna be stuck on me for days?
No, God.
Is it?
No. So with the plastic glue, it being a solvent, it might dry out your finger just a little bit, but it's it's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna stick to your hand. It's just gonna evaporate off. Even if you got some of the dissolved plastic on your fingers, it'll just dry and you peel it off. No big deal.
Oh, cool.
That's one of the reasons why I like working with the plastic glue. It's a lot more forgiving for the hands because I'm really messy, especially when I'm painting. I don't wear gloves or anything like that. I just end up painting my hands, and he can attest to this. He'll show up at where I work, and I'll have paint all over my hands.
Yeah, I've seen
before.
Definitely seen that
People
before.
wonder what I've been doing.
Alright, cool. So this is... There really is no stress to this. If you're just getting started, this could seem like some big hurdle you have to overcome, but this is relaxing. This is, I mean, it really is just something you could sit down and after work and cut your brain off and just kind of...
Yes, it's almost like a replacement for video games. Like you just chill and build a few minis, maybe put on an audiobook or listen to music.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you could play anything in the background to, not be sitting in silence, unless that's your thing. You enjoy quiet.
Silence is golden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, often what I do, because my whole thing, I'm a big lore guy. I love the lore. That's what got me started. Actually, a little bit of personal information. So, I broke 2 discs in my back about a week before my dad had a massive heart attack and died. So when I was looking for something to kind of take my mind off everything, because I couldn't really move around, couldn't work, and with that huge traumatic, my dad passing, I just dove in to Warhammer. I've been using Audible for a long time, got a few of the audiobooks, fell in love, and that's what I've been doing since. I bought my first Tyranid Tau Combat Patrol. Built those guys up in a night, Built them all.
The entire combat patrol?
I built the whole combat patrol one night.
Yeah.
You can say you know me. When I go in on something, I go in on it.
That's true.
Absolutely. So with the Ghost Kill, this is the first model that I built, the first model that I painted, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna magnetize him in a way that doesn't even really make sense to magnetize him. His torso comes off, but you know, I can move his chassis around a little bit. His weapon attachment points are magnetized. Yeah, that's the first model I did, so you might say I'm a little bit insane, but
I would say eccentric. Maybe not insane.
I don't have that much money.
Yeah, that's true. If you're not rich, you're not eccentric. You're just crazy.
You're just a little crazy. But I think the results are pretty cool, so I'm gonna go with it. Yeah, that's what got me into it. I've been a lore guy forever, so what I do is I'll put on an audiobook. I just finished all the Horus Heresy books that are out, which took forever. It took me over a month to listen through all the way through the Horus Heresy, but I couldn't put it down. I mean, I had an earbud in 24/7, just listening, and I spent so much money on Audible.
So most people it would take a little bit more than a month.
Right, yeah. But with me being, if I'm doing something, I am doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it took me about a month to get through, but it's amazing.
It's worth the payoff is worth it.
And we'll more than likely do videos, like a podcast style videos about all the lore. Probably sit down and build some minis, and I'll be the lore master. And you can ask questions, and we'll go through the different topics, and
that'd be cool.
yeah.
If there's one thing I like to do, I don't know if you guys can tell, is ask questions.
Yeah, and I love to talk, apparently. So.
Oh, it works out then.
Yeah.
Perfect.
This is why we're friends.
Yeah.
You ask questions, I give answers. Then you're by far outrunning me doing this. You're on your 8th Termagant.
Well, I'm following the instructions. I didn't do any
Oh, you didn't.
I didn't do any freestyling there.
Yeah, you didn't pull out the Beardo book of mini building.
No, you've got a little more experience, so you felt confident enough to say, forget the rules. I'm a man. I don't need those.
I don't need directions. It's north, ain't it?
Yeah.
But honey, you're driving south. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. Keep your mouth shut. I'm the one driving.
Our respective girlfriends are going to die laughing or kill us.
Or
if Gingy doesn't appear in the next episode, you know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he has to wear a fake Santa beard.
Yeah. I'll have sunglasses on. It's not covering a black eye or anything. Don't worry.
Oh yeah. It happened. It happened during drill.
Yeah.
It's not abuse.
Yeah. The military did it to me. It's fine. That's one thing, I guess, a little bit about me. I am in the National Guard, so any of my references to the military or drill or basic training or anything, I've gone through that fun stuff, and I still have another 5 years in my contract to keep going through it, so.
And I just live vicariously through him. Because my body is too busted up for me being dumb to join the military.
I thought the same thing, but with retention as low as it is right now, you'd be amazed what you can.
You know me.
Oh yeah, your back is broken. Never mind.
Yeah,
I don't think they look past that.
I've done a lot of being dumb and being tough.
Mom always said, if you ain't gonna be smart, you gotta be tough.
Yeah. My mama would second that, but really, I wish you would be a little smarter.
Oh wow, see now this, I've built, what, 2, 4, 6, this is my 8th one now, and I'm just now getting to where there's a pin on the mini itself instead of pushing all of the limbs into the mini. So with that, I just need to be a little careful putting the glue on it.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit of a close-up of that.
Okay. That's the first one that's got the actual pin on the miniature itself.
Yeah.
So then my leg, I have to actually press it into the miniature instead of pressing the leg into the miniature itself.
Right. And I would always put the glue on the pin.
Okay, even when it's on the miniature
Always
like
on
this?
the pin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to go in a lot easier. Now you can go ahead and put glue on the pin and in the hole, and it will, I mean, it'll just slide in.
And something I'm trying to do is also get glue around where the miniature meets itself. I'm trying to get glue so that it's not just on the pin. I'd like it to hold a little bit more than just that small piece of plastic.
Forgive my shaky hands. The wide order budget only had room for one gimbal just yet. We'll get there.
We will get there.
We do have a Patreon. If the shaky cam bothers you,
Do something to fix it.
yeah, we can throw us a couple bucks here or there. Much appreciated.
Or
Yeah.
give us some time and we'll...
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen either way. As Gingy will tell you, if I've got my mind set on something, it will happen eventually. Speaking of the Patreon, we have a Patreon, we have a shirt shop. Got new shirt designs coming out fairly often. Stay, Wings, stay. Not like this.
Don't stay like that, no.
Stay put. If we weren't recording, I'd have the hairdryer.
And that's the reason I stuck to the instructions, because I'm not that brave yet.
Well, it's just plastic.
That's true. It is just plastic.
Don't worry about the price tag, it's just plastic.
It's fairly pricey.
Yeah. Can't take it with you.
That's true.
And the attachment point that I went with, there's kind of this little hollow in the carapace over his shoulder, like the shoulder armor. And I've kind of stuck the wing in there. Now it does look a little bit ugly right this second, but I'll go in with some modeling compound and buff that out.
That could almost be your motto. It'll buff.
It'll buff.
It'll buff. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll come out in the wash. By the way, don't wash your minis. Water, not good for minis.
Seems like a bad idea.
And another interesting thing, a lot of people, once you clear a sprue, some people like frame their first sprue and all that, but I
really?
just take mine and I will chop them up into little pieces about this big, and you get paint thinner or mineral spirits, and you can dissolve this into sprue goo. And it is the same plastic, so if you get a little bit on like a toothpick or something, you can push it into gaps and fill little gaps and stuff, especially with the older minis that aren't quite as well designed. They'll have some gaps and mold lines and stuff like that. You can take that and just kind of brush it over, squeeze it in, then brush over it with the plastic glue once it dries, and you can use it almost like a welding rod. It's just, yeah, you put it together, sprue glue.
So the way that you were saying you could put this glue to kind of, you know, dissolve the plastic and get it to bind to itself on the outside to get rid of those gaps where they push together, you could just use that.
Yeah, you can take the if you got really nasty gaps, or if you're kit bashing and you need to fill some holes. A lot of people use green stuff. Green stuff is a lot more easy to control. I like Milliput personally. But this, like if you're trying to cover a base or something like that, you can use the sprue goo.
Alright, good enough. We might have to make some of that.
Good segue.
Do you have some?
Do I have some?
Do you have some? That was a silly question. I should have known.
Locate it. Sprue goo. And it is an olive jar full of sprue goo.
Holy cow.
And it's like putty. So you can take like, I'll cut a piece of this and show you.
Oh, here's a piece.
It needs to be just a little bit longer. It comes up like gunk. You need to add a little bit more mineral spirit to it. But it dries really fast.
It does dry extremely fast.
Yep,
Wow.
As soon as the spirit evaporates from the surface, it becomes like it doesn't stick to your fingers. You would think it would stick to your fingers.
I noticed it did it all.
Yeah, if you squish it, it'll stick to your fingers. But then again, you can just roll your fingers and it'll come off. Great stuff. Alright, so I've got the wing connected continuously, but connected. We're going to do the next one. And I'm going to try to get this done before Gingy has a full unit of Termagants to come and eat me. Somehow I doubt this. Actually, I'm going to use the big brush because I think it'll work a little better. You use the little brush. I didn't mean to set your difficulty to high with the big brush, but
it's fine. If you learn it the hard way, then everything else is easy.
I chart my own path.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
It might be down a cliff, back up a ravine. Might take me 7 or 8 hours to walk a 10-minute walk, but I got there.
And you made your own way.
You know, it's all about the friends we make along the way. If all the anime I've ever watched has got anything to say about it. When they say it's like watching paint dry, I think I understand now. Because I'm literally watching this glue dry, and I'm thinking, oh, I can let it go. Nope. No, you can't.
Oh, no. You're in for the long haul now.
Yeah, but this is the last piece.
Oh.
So, if your Termagants are going to come eat me.
I hope that the Prime,
There he
can't
is.
take 8. But I would guess he probably.
There he's not.
Oh, no. Every time you think you can let it go, give it another minute.
Or just dab more glue on it.
Yeah, or just put more glue on it.
Yeah, we should start over. Who needs detail? He's covered in slime.
It can all be added in post-edit.
Yeah, but bro, post-editing with this is a lot of file and knife work.
I didn't decide to not follow the instructions, Beardo. That was
That was me. It's okay though. It's okay. We got glue. It'll buff out.
We do got glue. And we do have a decent amount of...
I got sprue goo. Yeah, dude, you got the... Actually, let's stick those guys on the bases. Where's our little baggie of bases?
That's a good question, Beardo. Found it.
There they are. Get that sweet ASMR bass sound.
There we go. Get those tingles going, guys.
So, let's throw these guys on some bases.
See, 37. I'm gonna do this last model, and then I will get everything fit together.
They just go on there super easy. I mean, watch this shit. Boom.
Oh, wow.
Super easy.
I mean, they will need glued, so they...
Yeah, but see, with these, you can put them on the bases for storage before you do your basing decoration, and then pop them back off.
Okay, so glue later then.
Yeah, glue later. And the way the hexes are set up, you can actually have them running either across the base or like long ways like this.
Oh, so there's no set position on the base.
Right. So I like to
That's
make
cool.
mine be like they're kind of on the edge or running off the base. Or that gives us a lot of room to decorate. For those of you who are wondering, the Prime, whose wing I've decided to go off-road with, chopped in half, that will be another video. I'm showing you guys how to correct a bad idea and make it look awesome.
Everything's a learning experience.
Oh yeah. Dude, it's starting to look like an army.
I would hope, but you know. You know, right?
Yeah. Put together these rippers.
Oh yeah, the Ripper Swarm? Now what is a Ripper Swarm?
So rippers are a form of biological ammunition, technically. Some of the rippers are fired out of guns, but they're basically, think like hyper-aggressive maggots. Or like beetles, kind of, between the two.
Okay.
They eat you. That's their whole point, is they're
Something like a piranha.
Yeah, think a piranha beetle worm thing.
Ew. Sounds nasty.
Oh yeah, fired out of a gun at your face. Proceeds to eat your face. Turns your face into another
There's
ripper.
One ripper if you need one. The last sprue. Last thing in the sprue.
So rest assured, I mean, if you do get killed by Tyranids, you know that you'll become, biomass for more Tyranids. So at least there's that.
At least you're not going to waste.
Yeah, no, they really want you.
There's worse things, I guess. Well, than being...
Can you really think of a worse thing than being consumed slowly by a pit of acid? Watching all your friends and family be slowly consumed by a pit of acid?
No, honestly, I can't. You're good point. Or knowing that you're going to be turned into something to help kill your friends and family that are not already. Huh, that's...
Disturbing, right?
Yeah, that's not very nice of the Tyranids.
They are the Tyranids.
Yeah, I guess they never, claim to be nice. So.
They just claim to be hungry.
I can associate with that.
It's getting to be time for our Munitorum mandated lunch.
It is. My union rep's not going to be happy if I don't take that.
We have a union?
No. We live in Georgia. We don't have unions.
Oh, yeah.
Start talking about a union and your job can fire you just for that. Gotta love right to work states.
At will state? Oh, yeah. I'd say, wouldn't that be your union rep?
Yeah, probably. Sorry I haven't paid my dues in a while.
It's okay.
You guys aren't really doing much for us, so...
The administratum is really not paying very well these days.
Understand.
But they can afford the gold for the custodian's armor. Why can't they pay us guardsmen a little bit better?
Okay, you're just a measly guardsman.
Yeah, life is cheap in the Imperium.
That's very true.
I think that's got it, man.
All
How's
right.
it feel?
Feels good to be back. It feels very good.
Built your first unit in 10 years.
Yeah. It has been a while. Been a long time coming, because we've been talking about this for
Quite a while.
quite a while.
So you got any closing remarks, questions?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I would like to say thank you for your help. I appreciate all of the assistance that you gave me to help get those done.
Glad to do it, man.
And thank you guys for watching the video. Gingy, out.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Next video should be coming out pretty soon. We're going to be starting a podcast called Munitor and Break Room. Stay tuned for that. Gingy will be on there some with Tiki the Hut.
Tiki the Hut?
Yes.
Gotta give him a shout out.
Very clever name. Alright. So until next time, I'll be on.
I'll be on, guys.